Hi everyone, my name is Sherry Zhang and I am a member of Team 31. The other members are Nate and Alan, and the project we are working on is called OCS Hugo. OCS Hugo is a web application for off-campus and commuter student services created by the Student Affairs IT department. The purpose of the application is to keep track of off-campus students and their housing. The application stores and tracks incidental police reports, domestic landlord issues, and so on. In addition, OCS Hugo is able to visualize the collected data, show trends over time, and plot properties on Google Maps. Finally, OCS Hugo also has the ability to be used by other universities and organizations, making it a versatile and useful application. The technologies used to build OCS Hugo are as follows: Python 3.6, Pyramid Web Framework to make the web interface, SQL Alchemy to map objects in Python to items in the database by relation mapping, migration from Microsoft SQL Server to Postgres, Docker for containerization, Google Maps to show properties on a filterable map, and unit/integration testing. Other universities have expressed interest in using Hugo at their universities, so our key objective was to make Hugo open source. To do so, Hugo needed to be designed and built in a new development environment that made it easy for the open source community to contribute, and Hugo also had to be deployable in other production environments. As a team, we open sourced Hugo by many ways. One step we took was to create a standardized Docker environment for Hugo and the database to run in. The Docker environment is especially important because it allows other developers to download the application and have it set itself up and run by simply executing one command. In addition, we migrated from Microsoft SQL Server to Postgres. We did this because, unlike SQL Server, Postgres is an open-source relational database management system. We also ensured Hugo will be deployable in other production environments, such as on Windows and Mac. We also removed all Yukon branding on the application and have a Git repository, which contains the core Hugo data. Users will be able to access and upload their code to deploy their own instances of Hugo. This is a high-level look into the architecture and function of OCS Hugo. An end user will use a device with a web browser to access Hugo. A login page will load, and necessary credentials must be given for the user to be allowed to use the application. All credentials, usernames and passwords, will be stored in a login database. Once login is successful, the main application interface will appear, and the user will be allowed access to visualize data, look at trends, enter in reports, etc. All the information will then be stored in a Postgres database. Next, we'll transition into a live demo of OCS Hugo.
Okay, so now we'll get started setting up Hugo. So let's go ahead and get started by cloning the Git repository to our local computer. So now we'll go ahead and get Hugo started. So all we have to do is run make build, which will build our containers for us. And now we can go ahead and run make start to start the application. So now you can see the application is running, Postgres is running, the database has been created, and the last step we need to do is to run the database migrations before we get started. So in order to do that, we'll open up a new shell here. So now we need to get a bash shell inside of this container that we're running here. So let's open up another PowerShell window here. And now our database should be running and up to date. Let's check out the application. And here we are. So let's go through again one more property and see what happened here. So here we have the Yukon XL Center. I wonder where this is. Okay, the XL Center is in Hartford. I see. Some of the biggest challenges we faced during this project were due to the fact that we were working on an application that we did not develop ourselves. The base application was completely developed by the Student Affairs Information Technology group at UConn. So we jumped into other people's code that we hadn't written. So there was a lot of learning that had to be done before we could really even get started on the project. Also, at this point in college, we don't really have much experience developing full applications, but we do have a lot more experience writing code. Unfortunately, most of the work we did on this application was not writing code, so that was a challenge for us as well. So that's a general overview of the Hugo application and the work that we did on it. Thank you for watching.